The concept is simple. Turn $50 into $1,000 playing the finest night tracks every Thursday night. This is Bankroll Building and Bourbon. So I've already gotten sass from Mark because the little video I made where I said the finest night tracks on Thursday night. Mark, you challenged that for some reason.
Yeah, because one track seems to be oddly excluded, and it seems to be a wonderful track, and it's from Caleb's current state of residence, and it's a wonderful place for Thursday night racing. And I was told I wasn't allowed to play it, which is I feel discriminated against.
Caleb, what are your thoughts on this?
Boo.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, where's the
Boo this man?
Yeah. Belt is no fun. Looks like the cloud tracks of quality like Turfway.
Yeah, but yeah,
I did
be doing. Oh,
I did just slam that double at Delta. I'm just
doesn't count.
Delta B
doesn't count.
I mean,
just like my exacta last race didn't count. For some reason, my mouse isn't working over here. But yeah, hello and welcome back from our little holiday break. There took a couple weeks off. Caleb basically completely forgot how to play League of Legends in the 2 weeks. 2 weeks he was gone. But
did he forget, or did he just not know how to when we guys started? So
Oh, he absolutely carries us basically nonstop. So it was definitely him forgetting something.
I didn't. Caleb's the glue.
Murphy's the glue. I'm like the popsicle sticks.
Yeah, he's like the foundation.
Okay.
He's like the bones.
Okay, that you build the bridge with.
Yeah.
So the glue holds them. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do all the heavy lifting, and Murphy just holds it all together. Got it.
Exactly.
It makes perfect sense.
See, Matthew coming in already. He hit an $82 horse.
Good for you.
Yeah,
in the backyard too.
In the backyard, exactly. It was nice.
Oh.
Matthew did pick up dinner on Saturday when we went out for pizza. So shout out to Matthew. By the way, Matthew drinks Bud Lights and Jack Daniels faster than any man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Whoa. Hold on. Can he compete with Tommy?
I mean, he was drinking them both at the same time. So yes.
That's an advanced move right there.
It was. He knew that I was driving and he took full advantage. But no, it was great. It was great this weekend. I did a more in-depth recap of my weekend on Drankin' Champagne that came out last night this morning. So if you guys haven't checked it out, talk a little bit about the Hawthorne tournament. Talk a little bit about Andrew's weekend in Vegas, and then we kind of just the concept is simple. Turn 50.
Sorry.
Why did you do that?
Because I accidentally misclicked.
Mm-hmm. You see, this is why we can't have nice things. We give you the controls, and all of a sudden you start running stuff here. But
I was trying to flip to the chat window, and okay, you're right. I'm not qualified to be able to run the show.
Yep. But Matthew did ask what the rules were, and I think there were some questions on the rules. So pull up the rules here real quick. Rules for Bankroll Building and Bourbon here. We're gonna be going. So before we used to have an open wager rule, but we're gonna bring that down to win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, daily double only. Remington Park and Turfway Park are the only tracks we're gonna entertain at the moment. Obviously, that will depending on how long this goes and how things happen. And last time we had to include more tracks because this took way too long. But Bankroll starts at $50. So everyone's got $50 today. This is live wagering, so I will be getting photographic proof from these gentlemen every time, and I think maybe we'll start every week with a little recap of the week before, and I'll do some graphics for that. If you have less than $10, you can rebuy for 50. Beginning of the stream, first person $1,000 wins. Bankroll does carry over every stream, so if you zero out, you have zero the next time, but you can buy back in. If you run it up to $200-$300, you start the next stream with $200-$300. Prize pool starts at $50. Every time you rebuy, you toss another $5 into the pot. I think, Mark, what did you end up to like? You had like what, $100 bottle, I think, by the end of it.
Yeah, it was like $100 bottle. It was something decent.
Yep. So the winner gets a bottle of bourbon worth the prize pool paid for by the losers. So pretty straightforward, I think. We got 3 minutes to post here at Turfway. I think how much time we got here till Remington? I got to add that. We got about 6 minutes till race 2 at Remington. So I don't know. You guys got any plays here?
Yeah, I do. I just don't know how big I want to push it because they're not even on the track yet at Turfway. So this can be more than just 2 minutes out.
Yeah, I don't know what's taking them so long.
Oh, it's Kentucky. They're slow at everything there. Yeah, I don't know. So I do want to fire a double here. I need to look at double probables. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm using an ADW I'm not used to, which is makes
that's probably the most difficult part of this challenge. Is like we can't use our main ADW because we try to keep that money separate. So I had to deposit a very strange amount into my my Twin Spires account.
I did the same thing. I had to deposit like $36.54 or something, some sort of stupid amount to make it exactly 50.
Yeah, and penny breakage doesn't help. So like I don't know. It was I just had to deposit a real weird amount into my my Twin Spires. So I'll probably have to pull up my Twin Spires too. But I will say on my real money ticket, I did play a pick 4 at Turfway. So I got to the first leg. I had the 10 and the 11, hit a nice little $4 exacta there, and I got the 7, the 10, and the 13 in this race. And looking at the way Turfway's been playing, at least today, I do think that you want to come from off the pace. There were a couple horses that wired. I think 1 or 2 horses wired earlier, but the last couple races, it seems like Q4 squares for the optics users have been where it's at here. So I like the 7, 10, and 13 here. Promises to Dance for Brad Cox and Chris Landeros. The 10 is Baby No Worries, Tim Girton and Emmanuel Esquivel at 33-1 currently. And the 13, 24-1, Joseph Ramos and Claude Brownfield the third, Miss Temptation. Yep.
I was gonna say, it seems like we're gonna have most of this field covered because I'm using 3 horses in a double, and none of them are any of the ones that you picked out. So
would you say 10, 13, and who?
7, 10, 13.
Yeah, I don't think I had any of those either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm sure Matthew will be proud because he'll say that they're not logical horses.
I ended up on 3, 6, and 8 here. The Corrales from Maker Horse, first time getting on synth, laugh out loud. I am not even gonna. Josh can pronounce the name on the 6, and the 8 opening buzz for Jonathan Wong and No Thank You to Sunday. So I think at this point in time, you have to kind of fade Corrales at your own peril. He's winning it, I think 50% on the meet so far, and so I just was trying to find horses that I thought would handle the surface, handle the going, and might like this trip. I don't know. Where'd you end up, Caleb?
Yeah, so I also have a pick 4 going. I guess I'll start off with that. I have the 3, the 4, and the 6 going in the pick 4. So I guess I do have the 3 that Josh or someone mentioned earlier. That's really kind of me paying the Corrales tax. I don't really love the horse in this spot, but I missed, I think, 1 or 2 of the races tonight, but the couple that I saw, while the winners have come off the pace, it seems like the speed went really fast and still kind of stuck around. So I sort of had the impression speed's maybe a little bit better than I would normally expect it to be at Turfway. So I kind of do respect the 3 because of that. The 4, I think, just has some back class, running in pretty much all stakes races except for the last 2. And then the 6, though, is my top pick here, and that's probably what I'm going to make a contest bet here. I'm also not going to pronounce it. Kirobin Dorada. But this is a horse that was clearly in over red last time. 3-year-old filly. She can be on the lead. She can come off the pace. Paulo Lobo always does excellent at Turfway, and that race she came out of, she kind of got walloped there. That race came back good. We all saw Caravel win the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Star Divine came back to win a race at Aqueduct not too long ago, I think it was. So I like the 6 here. That's actually who I'm going to anchor in the first half of a double bet going into the next race.
Yeah, the nice thing about this live bankroll contest is you don't have to worry about your bets affecting the pool, which was definitely very much a concern when we were firing at Hawthorne in the last couple of races at the Hawthorne contest. But I forgot what it was. I think Brian was on. He's got like a bet calculator. He was looking at the payouts. He's like, yeah, but that's a $300 double. He's like, I think that might affect the pool a little bit at Hawthorne. There was actually, I guess Brian was mentioning that a lot of people don't like Golden Gate Fields because of that. And like that tends to end, and like, for example, it ends NHC. And so they always came up with this theoretical issue, right? Like what's to stop, someone like who's in first in the NHC in the last race at Golden Gate from putting like $5,000 to $10,000 to win on a horse to just completely kill its odds, that if it's a bomb or something, because that's enough to affect the pool. So it was an interesting conversation with theoretical wagers, but yeah, I'm not going to be super creative here. I like my 3 horses. We're gonna try and I think we're gonna just try and just do a little double here, or a little exacta here.
Everybody's swinging at the first leg.
Yeah. Crap. Who is it? The 7, the 10, and the 13. We'll do a little $3 exacta box. Just get our beak wet a little bit here, and then I'm gonna run back the exacta for another $2 with just the 8 on top over the 10 and 13.
You got the second at Remy starts here in 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah, Turfway's running slow. They're probably gonna run on top of each other.
Yep. Welcome to horse racing. 3 tracks running, 2 of them on top of each other.
I did not like anything at Remy, at least not early. So I have no action here.
Yep. I felt like we needed another track just to, give something. And I felt like Delta Downs was not it. So therefore we are at Remington Park.
Yeah, I actually like Remy. I've been playing a lot of Remy when I was home last couple of weeks because it was like the only thing running in the afternoon or in the evenings, and like during the weekday, and like it's a fun little track. It seems like they have field size issues a little bit, but it's a fun little track. It plays pretty fair.
My biggest problem with Remy is I tend to be more of a vertical player, and stupid things like I can't play a daily double here. I can't play
horizontal
a pick
player
3 here. Or sorry, horizontal player. I mean, said that backwards. But I can't play a double here. I can't play a pick 3 here. Those types of things are just really frustrating. The fact that we're in 2022 and I can't play rolling doubles at a track absolutely kills me. It's baffling.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Matthew's playing along here. It looks like he likes the 5, so he's got a little $4 win, $6 place on the 5. He's gonna try and get a little cash here.
Knowing Bicky, I very much expect him to be to win this thing tonight.
I know he'll put us all to shame.
He's gonna put us all to shame. He can make us look a pack of idiots. They are off at Turfway though, and Remy's.
They are, and the 7 is getting hustled to the lead.
Late money on the 6 going off as the 2-1 favorite. It looks like.
Yeah,
which kind of makes sense. That horse figure would probably go off. Both the 4 and the 6 are sitting pretty good trips here.
I'm surprised seeing the Brad Cox horse go off at 8-1.
Which horse does he have?
The 7.
That's called the Chris Landeros effect.
Is that like the butterfly effect?
It is.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why, but it just sounds very similar.
They set so.
That is
I don't know what just happened there.
Very fast for Turfway, isn't it? 44.
Yeah, the one just tossed the jock.
I think that was that the 10 or the 1?
That was
Look
the
at
one.
the one.
And
Oh,
my
I
8
see it.
is gonna go rolling right on by.
The
Boom.
8.
I
It's
will take
Josh's
it.
horse.
No, it was
No,
not
that
my
was my
horse. That
horse.
was
That
my
wasn't
horse.
Mark's horse.
Yeah. Ah.
He's going to win by as many as he wants.
Yep. And now they're off at Remy. Now, my issue with Remy was I think the 6 is an extremely likely winner, and I thought the 3 was a very likely winner of the next race. And I was sort of debating like, oh, do I slam a double here, fire my entire bankroll at just an absolute chalk slam? But I can't play doubles, and also B, it would have paid it would have might have gotten 50 cents on my dollar back, like
when I saw 9-1 on the 7, I debated putting like $20 to win because I do think that's the 6 is maybe a little bit questionable, but the 7 was the one horse I was interested in. But at the end of the day, I decided to fire a Turfway and lose instead.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the 1. Who's the jock? Oh, is it,
Also, to be
Rafael
fair though, I
Benito?
thought the 3 or 7 had to get the lead here, and somehow the 5's on the lead. So
You looking at Remy now?
yeah.
Yeah. This is.
Well, 7's coming,
this is,
but
this
I think
is
he's gonna be
not
too
this
late.
is not how you want your 1 to 5 to run.
The 6 or the 5?
6.
6. I mean, I just could never take 6 to 5 on anybody in that field. But
No, it was a terrible field. I mean, the 6 was supposed to win, but that was not.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at Remy, but unfortunately, my pick 4 is dead. My exacta is nothing. Mark, you got a double live. It looks like.
Yep, I'm live into the 1-5 in the next. So if I catch my price in there, I will have a very nice bit of bankroll to play with.
I did like your 1. I had the 1, the 9, and the 10 in the next one here at Turfway.
your 5
I think the 1.
He's playing huge in doubles.
Yeah,
I need to go look at him because I don't remember who that was.
that's
Why
fine.
don't you tell
With
us about
both
him? Because
hands.
you can tell me why I should use him.
Bet with both
Well,
hands.
I mean, if I tell you why to use him, you're definitely not going to use him. No, I mean,
I like the horse a little bit.
Yeah, that's a horse that has some really good. That Prescott Downs race on synthetic was really good, and had some races that go back. I mean, you have to do a little bit of digging in that horse's in that horse's history to find some really good performances. Horse has an absolute has a ton of early speed. And I thought I know Josh was saying he thought closers were really good, and I realized a closer did win that last race, but they went suicidal on the front end. So I'm just wondering if this 5 can get out, get comfortable, is synth horse all along, and just maybe handles the going and. And also this is pretty high percentage connections all the way around. Trainer's really good with this kind of layoff, really good synth trainer as well. So, I knew it was a horse that would be kind of ignored on the board, and I would just get a lot of value. And I thought that horse made some sense.
Yeah, Brig shows him as 42% off 90 plus day layoffs out of 26 starters, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. 33% on DRF. That's out of 21 starters. So it's probably a slightly different sample size, but it's a $4.84 ROI, which is the other thing that kind of jumps off the page. And he isn't somebody that's dropping chalk back. You're getting some prices in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate it. My big question about this race was it just feels like there's a whole buttload of speed in this race. I mean, Johnny Unleashed, I don't know what he's doing in a mile, but you have to think the plan is to take him as far as he can on the lead. And then I wasn't quite sure about a horse like the 5 or 10 or a few others. Kind of do they just burn out? But no, there's things to like, and you're definitely gonna get your price.
Yeah,
I just saw some of the names in this race. Johnny Unleashed, obviously Caleb and I have chased for about.
I would say half of this field owes Josh money. I mean, like legitimate. And Ueho is a horse that owes you money.
Like the King, I think I needed. I needed somewhere. I think
Gray's Creek, you needed somewhere.
I think after Gray's Creek won that allowance race at Keeneland, I think I proclaimed him the best horse in Chad's barn. And we saw how that worked.
Oh man. Oh god. Steven keeps on trying to make Gulfstream happen, and it's just not going to happen. Yeah, what did I have here? I had 1, 9, 10 here. So Mark, you did like Grace Creek. I also like Grace
I did.
Creek.
I did.
Paulo Lobo, Gerardo Corrales. Does
But
have some a bit of backlash. I mean, the Tampa Bay was a pretty decent race. Finished fifth, but only 2.5 lengths off of Get Smoke in there. There's some good horses in there. Admission Office was in that race.
oh,
Ran in the Jaipur twice. Didn't really do much running either time, but came back one in allowance at Ellis. And ran against some pretty nice horses there at Keeneland. So
how's it going, Ryan? Man, doing well.
I also use a Neho. And I think I was kind of looking at it like you were, Caleb. I thought there was quite a bit of speed in this race. Looking at the optics plot, the 9 sits right in the middle there as a Q2 square. Basically right dead set in the middle of the plot. Another horse that does look pretty good on optics is the 7, the Credit. I didn't give this one too much of a look, but it does have at least one race over the surface. I did try to break his maiden over the surface. Has run some decent little turf races. Won a race at Kentucky Downs last year. The other horse I used was the 10 Driftwood, and that's kind of a 3 cherry horse there. That's I think that's going to be your leader. I haven't looked at anything else but the optics and the Brisnet. So I'm not sure if Time Form's got something else faster or but I thought the 10 might be the one that gets the lead. Victor LeBron is kind of a hustle bug out there, so I thought this horse is going to get shoved up to the front of the pack, and if speed were able to hold and maybe a couple of the other horses don't go, I thought maybe the 10 might be nice. So
Yeah, I guess I agree with both of you on Grace Creek. I think that's the horse to beat in here, and I don't think it's really that close. But you're not going to get a price. I think everyone's betting Corrales at this point, and he does look like the best horse in the field anyway. So yeah, that horse I think is going to be quite short. I'd guess he probably opens in the ballpark of 8-5. The only other horse that I really liked in here was actually the 6, and there's a lot of speed in here, so I really tried to stay away from the horses that I think need the lead types. I know Brisnet has this 6 down as an E8, but there are some races back there where he has come off the pace to pass a couple other horses. Doesn't necessarily win in some of those efforts, but has come off the pace and made up ground. And he had a couple of his better races at Turfway. I think everybody remembers 2 years ago, I think it was the Jeff Ruby Stakes, where he had a just terrible trip. And I think getting back onto the synthetic, back at Turfway, maybe he's not the same horse. That's possible, but I think he's been facing better horses, and getting back onto a track where he's proven to be successful, and hopefully Vinny can keep him just off the pace. If he goes out there with the 4, 5, and 10, I think they have all no chance. But if he can keep him maybe in that second pack and get first run on some of the deeper closers, I think he's got a shot in here. So the 6 is the other horse who my double is dead, but I tried to double into the 1 and 6 last race.
Debating just so you know, the last race is not official yet. There's still an inquiry going on. So
from that, you like literally as soon as you said that, it went official. Well, it didn't go official, but they took the inquiry.
The inquiry's down. Yeah. I kept looking for probables into the next race, and I'm like, why aren't they up? Oh, it's not official yet. They are loading into the gate at the best track in Louisiana at the current moment.
What do you like at Delta? What do you like at Delta?
1-5 for my pick 5.
Oh my god, that's funny. Ryan is asking Lloyd if he could explain the HISA thing a little bit more. Lloyd's simply saying no, Ryan, because you can't spell my name correctly. Oh man. So what did you have here at Delta, Mark?
I need 1 or 5.
1 or 5?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make sure that you don't get either of these horses home. Oh, that
really?
117 to 1. I'm betting that horse to win.
If I get a 17 to 1 home for you, Josh, you might start liking Delta.
Oh, they're off.
And we all know the real reason you don't like Delta, but
The real reason I don't like Delta is because we grinded and grinded and grinded for weeks. Finally, we let you play Delta, and you just broke the contest in one fucking fell swoop. Yes, that is why we do not like Delta Downs.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Well, your 1 and 5 are sitting just off the pace here.
I thought the 1 would get the lead in here.
This 6 just shot out like a rocket, but I don't know if this horse is already just tiring. Well, maybe not. You might be in trouble.
Yeah, I might be in trouble.
No, the 5 took the turn real well. He's gonna blow right past.
I mean, chalky though, 3 to 5.
Yeah, but I mean, that's that's your type of horse there. But
No, I thought that 5 would break a little better. The 5 did not break well. I thought the 5 might get on the lead, and Speed's been real good at Delta all night. So, thought the 1 had some wire potential at a big price, but here we are. They're off at Remy. Oh no, I guess that's a previous race. Okay.
Yeah, they got about 15 minutes till Remy. I think Remy's going to be the next one off here. So we got a 7,500 N2L race, which is just probably the biggest chaos factor I think in racing. I think this is probably even more chaotic than maiden claiming races here. You scratch the 5 mighty happy out of this race. So you got 6 horses going here. Your favorite currently is the 3 She Hit a Homer for Orlando Mojica riding. I think somebody actually brought this up. Do you you guys haven't been following Remington much, but just go ahead and take a look through the PPs, look at the jockeys. Can you name a worse jockey colony?
I mean, probably like any other small track, like probably Delta for that matter.
How about Aqueduct? Can we just say Aqueduct?
Oh God, man, Mark, you're just trying to make content over here, aren't you?
I'm just bringing the truth, right? Like right now, the Aqueduct. I mean, it was as soon as after this weekend, the Aqueduct colony will be atrocious because Joel is going to go south for the winter, as will both the Ortiz brothers, and as will probably Lascano and those types of people as well. So I think it. But yeah, if you're talking about right now,
I mean, it's pretty bad. And looking at this race, the 3 looks to be, actually the 2 looks fairly competitive, but is coming from a 130-day layoff. So that might be a little tough to try and bet against this 3 here.
Doesn't it sort of feel like this 3 is supposed to be like 4 to 5 in this field?
Yeah, I thought I thought there was just an ice cold double here. The 6 in the previous race into the 3 here, and the fact that the 3 is not taking money really, or I mean, 3 is taking money. Clearly your favorite, but I thought this horse would be 3 to 5, 2 to 5 range, not 9 to 5. So either its early money is just spread around and there's not enough in the pools to really make it accurate. I mean, what's total in the pool? I mean, there's only $1,000 in the pool, Caleb. So it's not like it's probably super accurate right now, but still, I expected all the early money would be there, and this horse would open at some stupidly short price.
We could check the double well pays or probables, but
Yeah, we already covered this. Josh makes us play this stupid track. I know a track where we could play doubles, like rolling ones that runs in the evenings.
Well, once Sam Houston comes back and saves us. Once Sam Houston comes back and comes back from the dead and saves us all, we'll go ahead.
When's opening day, Sammy Houston? It's like just January.
Yeah, but we gotta get past all the HISA stuff. So hopefully they get it figured out, or if they don't, if it doesn't get overturned, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff going on with it, but as of right now, I know they're working to try and get it going. But
okay,
Grace Creek is even money currently.
Yeah, he figured me pretty short in here.
If I blow my budget, I can buy back in for how much?
$50, but you can't buy back until next week.
Next week, right? But it's a $10 contribution to the Bourbon Fund, right?
$5.
Weren't you paying attention whenever the rules?
$5. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I
I mean, do you need me to put the rules back up?
It's a $5 to the bourbon fund, so that means I get a better bottle of bourbon once we go to a real track and you let me play Delta. Got it. Okay.
You don't, because it depends on how many times Caleb and I rebuy if you win.
True. You might be buying your own bottle.
Well, so there is some game theory though here, because if I just fire and dump my, fire my bolts as quick as I can and take big price shots, I don't have a higher chance of winning, and therefore,
I mean, you can, but much like the Sandlot, right, where the catcher hits that home run, and they say, "Great, now we can't play no more." Like, let's settle down a little bit, all right?
What would you rate that movie?
That's a good question. I might have to pull up the old sheet. That might be a 7. I think that's probably a 7. We'll have to.
so wait, if we can't play anymore, that means we don't have to play Turfway anymore. So that this is a win.
I mean, some people would call it a win, but I mean, I think playing Turfway is one of the greatest joys in life, and some of the most fun you can have on a Thursday night outside of Steven's Dragon Calls. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This Remy race looks unplayable unless. Unless I want to take a shot with this 2, but this 2 is 5-2 or 3-1 now. Like, I don't know.
It's funny because I did have a play that I was going to make here, and then realized that I can't play doubles, so I don't want to play anymore.
All right, we might have to. We'll talk during the week about reevaluating Remington Park, but Turfway is going to sit there. Yeah,
I mean,
Matthew,
you can win bet the 9-5, 6-5 shot, Caleb.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more about the horse in the next race than this race.
Man, where did you land in the next race? Because I thought that race was really tough.
I channeled my inner Josh, and I landed on the 8.
Okay, I like the 8 was one of the ones I liked in there. Yeah.
I think looks like he's going to be lone speed. I mean, a little unclear what the 2 might do. He's not traditionally sent, except for last time. But to me, the 8 looks like he's going to get pretty loose out there. And I don't really know what to make out of the comment line where it says inside snow weekend. So I don't know if he just like ran into like a snowbank, or if like maybe it was just like
it was
blizzard
snowing that day. Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah, either way, I don't particularly care that much.
Oh, that was the whiteout, and they couldn't see the race, so
I couldn't see anything.
They don't have chart notes for it. That's hilarious. Never thought about that.
Yeah, the 2 and the 8 are the only. Well, the 6 is a little bit, but the 2 and the 8 are the only horses over the horizontal access on, or the vertical access on the optics plot. So it looks like there's not a lot of speed, and I think it's just going to be between the 2 and the 8. The 8 does look faster early.
Yeah, and then I didn't know what to do with the 4. He's truly going to be more of like a price play for me. I think it's probably a turf horse, but definitely the classiest horse in the field out of the races he's dropping out of. So it's one of those things that if he takes to the dirt, he probably romps. If he doesn't, then he's a takeout reducer. And 5-1's kind of right at the fringe of that price where I'm like, well, okay, like that's maybe where 10-1 I'll stab, 5-2 too short, but at 5-1 I wasn't sure what to do with him.
Looking back at Turfway here, looking at the board a little bit, the 6 hasn't taken any money, or I mean, it's taking a little bit of money, but it's still 6-1. Basically, the 1 is the only horse taking any kind of money here. Accredit's at 10-1 now from a 4-1 line. Basically, everyone besides the 11 and the 8 and the 6, everyone else is over double digits.
Yeah, I'm tempted to win bet the 6 here. I can't double. I have no opinions in the next race. I'm not going to bet that race for sure. So I mean, I may win bet the 6 or look at exactas, but that's kind of where I'm at for this race.
You talk on this race at Turfway?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just played a 1-5 over 4 double with the rest of my bankroll. So
the all in.
Which is not a smart bankroll preservation strategy, but winning this stupid contest, it gives me a little bit of ammo that I can fire at. So
The 4 horse is 10-1 in the book and currently favored in the double probables.
favorite in the
race.
doubles. Yeah. I looked at that and went, that is a terrible morning line because there's one horse in that race that has any semblance of form, and that's the 4.
I don't know that I'd say it's anything a form, but it's the right
Well,
connections and it's a big drop.
right
I don't know if
connections,
8th
big
by
drop.
52 and 7th by 24 is exactly form. But
Well, the field is combined 0 for a billion. So
that's true.
I mean, there's a lot of chronic losers. You know, the 0 for 23, the 0 for 9, the 0 for 10 types in there that you know. And I thought that first race was pretty okay. You know, it looks like the horse completely just missed the break, bobbled horribly, getting quite a bit of class relief. I would imagine Corrales will be pretty aggressive with this one, and you know, it's the probably gets loose if he wants to. And I would imagine with how Corrales has been riding literally every single mount tonight, he's going to put this horse on the lead. And these are cheap horses. I want a horse that I want him, you know, I want Corrales to come play, you know, catch me if you can, and you got to pass me.
Caleb, what are you drinking over there?
You know, I got an old reliable but good bottle of Old Bardstown.
Old Bardstown.
Yeah, just a nice like $25 bottle. I wasn't feeling like getting fancy tonight.
Mark's about to send you some money. He's a little concerned.
Hey man, I love me some Old Bardstown.
Oh,
Mark got
no,
real blurry too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you got?
I just listened to Caleb, and because he's actually given me some good picks as of lately. So I got another bottle of Highland Park 12, which is just.
I love me some Highland Park.
It's just it was, believe it was on sale at my local, and so I, you know, it's something I really like. I don't like anything more peaty than it. It's got just a little bit, and it's just it's really solid pour. It's not crazy expensive, you know, and it's got a cool bottle. So all the wins.
Yeah, that's about as smoky as I can go to. I don't really care for much more. I popped open this bottle finally. I had to wait a little bit because there was a problem with ordering it, but it's a our Bourbon single barrel. It's Nulu straight bourbon whiskey, double oaked. So a little bit different than the toasted. They finish this in another oak barrel, so they double barrel it basically.
How would you say that compares to like a Woodford double oak?
This has got a little bit more. It's still pretty sweet. You know, reminds me a little bit of that Nulu toasted. So I'm guessing. Guessing it's the same. You know, the same MGP or whatever underneath. It is 116 proof, so it's got a bit of a kick.
That's a little hot,
but I don't know. It's like excuse me. It's like if you took, I think the Nulu the Nulu toasted, but gave it a little bit more of a like a firm finish. It's a lot oakier on the end, and it's a little bit more you can tell. I think this is definitely higher proof than the pick I had, so it's good though. I was supposed to get 2 bottles of it, but there was an issue with my order. But luckily, the guy over at who runs the barrel program was able to get me taken care of, got me a coupon, and then refunded my shipping and the bottle I didn't receive. So that was nice. I also have a rye that I think is double oaked as well. So that should be I didn't bring it up with me. I brought a 1792 foolproof pick that I got here.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Oh, Mike's going with a James E. Pepper 76 rye, 90% rye. It's a very high rye. You ever had that one, Caleb?
Which one?
James E. Pepper.
I've seen it on shelves a couple times, but I haven't tried it now.
It's not one. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I tend to also not like the super rye heavy blends or rye heavies.
I do gravitate towards those a little bit more.
Yeah, you go there, and I like my weeders. So
yeah, I think we're all opposites there, but
yeah, we are.
But I think the weeders I can tolerate if they're higher proof. It's the low proof weeders I don't really like.
Okay.
Like when we all three had that Weller foolproof at Saratoga this year.
Yeah, that's really solid stuff.
Yeah, like that was like I don't love Weeders, but like it was a higher proof, and that was really good.
I tell you, that's one of the better pours I've ever had. That was very, very, very good.
So I just looked it up real quick. The difference between the toasted and the double oaked is that the toasted or the double oaked is finished in a barrel with toasted heads, and then gets dumped into a totally fresh new charred barrel to finish. So instead of finishing in a toasted barrel, it's kind of like the opposite. Instead of finishing in a regular barrel and then finishing in a toasted barrel, it's the other way around. They finish it in a toasted. They start it in a toasted barrel, and then they finish it in the regular barrel, a regular oaked barrel. It sounds like. So you get a little bit more. It's still kind of got that. Still got that sweetness. I don't know if that's just like the mash bill or if it's the way the if it's that toasted finish. I know a lot of the toasted types tend to be like these like dessert bourbons, like 1910 for example, Woodford Reserve double oaked, but or double barrel, whatever they call it. But yeah, so here at Turfway Park, I'm gonna kind of shift. I saw all the money this one's taken, and so I'm gonna zag. I'm gonna go with the 6, 9, 10 exacta box here. And I'm gonna leave myself. I'm playing it for $2. I'm gonna leave myself $16 for this last race.
Wait, 6, 9, 10 at Remy?
No, at
Or at Turfway.
Turfway. 6, 9, 10. I had 1, 9, 10 in a double, or in a pick 4, but I was dead last leg. So Mark, I see you playing the $16 double 1-5 over 4 for the rest of your bankroll.
Yep.
And then after this, maybe we'll talk a little Aqueduct on Saturday. Andrew and I we did look at the stakes races in that card, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Short version of what I think is it's a pretty interesting sequence. I normally don't get super excited. We'll have to see what the weather brings, but very, very interesting races in there. I think there's some very vulnerable favorites. So
yeah, I think I landed on a couple of prices. There was one like we didn't have morning lines yesterday, so when I kind of was like laughing. I made this horse a B, and he's like, "Yeah, that horse is 6 to 5," and then I realized it's a half to Malathot.
yeah, I also made that same horse a B, and yeah, I think that race is a little bit more complex than probably it looks at first glance when you hear the full half. Or actually, I think that horse is a full to Malathot, not a half.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the same dam as well.
I knew it was the same dam. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think same dam, same sire. I think that's a full. So, but yeah, they are calling for some rain on Saturday, and that always can make the complexion of the race a little bit interesting. Not a ton. They're only calling for a 1/4 inch, and it looks like they will all happen before post. So you'll know what the surface comes up, and you'll be able to watch a few races before you get to the featured sequence.
Yeah, it looks like Matthew fired a $10 win bet on the 6 here at Remy. This 3 though, it looks like he's opening up. I don't know. This 3 looks like might be in trouble.
I might be in. I think the 7's going to go rolling by.
I think the 2.
Or everyone's going to hang, and
no, the 2's got him.
2's going to get there. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Or.
Oh yeah.
No,
okay, 2
yeah.
got there. Oof.
Yeah, two's there.
That last like split second where the camera starts to pan and you don't see the horse passing, but that's frustrating. What did that 2 go off at?
6 to 5.
6 to 5.
Oh, 6 to 5. Okay. Yeah, that was the only horse I thought had a shot against the 3, and
agreed.
That was a good pass. I think. I don't know what I would be able to do. We have a delay here. They're walking the horses around, so let's jump over to a little bit of Aqueduct here for Saturday while we wait here. Well, Caleb, actually, real quick, I did see you posted your play here. It looks like you got a 1/6 exacta. you're eating the chalk here, and then you got a 1/6 over a couple here for a dollar try. So you're just
Yep, just
trying
trying
to.
to. I think the one's likeliest winner. 6, I think. 9-2. He's taking some money at this point, so maybe not the price I'd hoped, but probably the second best horse in the field. And then hoping to get a bomb in third if I can, like a horse like Mark's 5 or your 10.
Yeah, Matthew asking what's going on at Turfway, that the horses aren't even saddled. I have no idea. I heard the word delay, so I just assume we're going to be a little bit there. But Aqueduct here, the Demoiselle, yeah, Julia Shining's 3-5. And I was a little I I don't know. I thought the 6 Gambling Girl was going to be your favorite in this spot. I mean, you get IRAD for Todd Pletcher. Now, when I was talking with Andrew on yesterday, he made a good point. He's like, look, if Todd really thought he had something, would you think that he would have just like why is he running her in state breds and not in open company? And I think that's a good point. What's
Ooh,
going
look at the
on.
owner.
Yeah. I think that the way that this race is setting up pace wise, I think that this horse is going to get first run, and I think this horse has got a definite shot if I was my top pick in this race. So I mean, I'm not going to bet against. Well, okay, I will definitely bet against Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz Jr. But I don't know. The connections make sense here. I mean, if you go look at that race 2 back, I mean, that's better, I think, than any other horses run in this spot. I know it's state bred, but I don't know. I thought there was a lot to like in the 6, and when Andrew told me 8-1, I was like, much like Mark's 5, betting with both hands. I felt like that was the play there. But I don't know, Mark. What did you think here?
I completely agree with you. I think Julia Shining is a horse who, yeah, she's a full to mouth at. She's going to take a ton of money on just those connections and all those sort of factors alone. And she was impressive. She got the job done and looked like she wants to go quite a bit further in that Keeneland race. My thing though is, Todd Overwinter's his best stock in Florida. And yeah, I mean, I realize she got a late start to her 2-year-old campaign, but you weren't targeting the Breeders' Cup. Why wouldn't you just ship this one down to Florida, wait, or turn her out for the winter? It's a Stone Street horse. He can turn it out at Stone Street, bring this one back in February and point her towards, get a couple races and point towards the Kentucky Oaks. That's probably where they want to go. It seems interesting that he keeps this one in New York and is running her back. And I don't know why for a Stone Street horse. Now, the other Pletcher I thought was more interesting. You're getting Micropole. Micropole obviously wants to see his horses run, and this is it. He grew up right next to Aqueduct, and this is his home track. So, Gambling Girl also happens to be a stakes winner, and had a pretty damn good excuse in that Maid of the Mist, the last out race where the horse got really bumped hard at the break, was 5 wide, and I realized Le Montem kind of ran off the paper that day, but Gambling Girl didn't have her best shot, and I think her at 8-1, for all the reasons Josh said, I thought Gambling Girl was very, very interesting here, and you hope that the connections on the 3 take all the money and you get an overlay.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement that Julia Shining at 3-5 is not it. Maybe this is the next Malathat, but she'll have to prove it to me. And I have no interest in this horse at this price. The figure came back average. I mean, visually it was an impressive race, but the figure was average. Now she's trying 2 turns for the first time against winners. There's a lot of unknowns here. Just because her sister liked it doesn't mean that she's going to like it. So yeah, maybe the best horse in the field, but hasn't proven to be the best horse in the field. And at that price, I think you have to play against. I don't really have anything against Gambling Girl. I don't know that I don't love the state bred, race last couple, especially, I had some trouble last time, but still ran pretty poorly. But this feels like one of the worst runnings of the Demoiselle that I can remember.
Andrew said the same thing.
Yeah.
You have a maiden in here that doesn't look hopeless, and it's a bad field. So I'll probably kind of spread here, just trying to beat Julia Shining since I don't really have confidence in anybody. I probably gave the longest look at the one. I'll admit I'm not convinced on pedigree this horse wants 9 furlongs, but if you look at what she's done since being stretched out to a route, she has really improved since going around 2 turns, albeit one of those was at Parks, but she ran a very good second in attempted stakes at Aqueduct last time out, and that was actually against Open Company. So I think she's one that has proven in her first couple of starts that she doesn't need to lead. She can come off the pace and pass some horses. And there isn't a ton of speed in here. She probably can go if she wants. Otherwise, maybe let a horse like the 7 Tribal Queen go out to the front, and she can sit just off. So I like the fact that Paco ships in for this. And we've seen these Robert Reed and other Parks trainers have some success at these Winter Aqueduct Stakes races in the past. So Foggy Night's probably the one I'd give the longest look to here.
Not to be that guy, but Paco has been riding the last couple weeks in Naira.
Like a mount or two.
He's
like
got
a mount
11.
or two, right?
Like 11.
Total or like daily?
He's got 11 since they went back to being Aqueduct. So
Okay.
11 mounts in the last week. Yeah, again, it's not like he's riding
Yeah.
every race, but he's
Right, okay.
He's been there a fair bit, and he's been riding like garbage. So the one race that I didn't use him is the one he hurt me on. So
Isn't that how it goes?
I gotta pull up my other copy of the BP, so I have my notes here.
But no, I will say, I know Caleb briefly touched on this horse, the 5 Affirmative Lady for Grand Motion. I actually thought that horse was a little bit interesting. Grand Motion is somebody who brings his horses along slowly. This one's got a pedigree that says the stretch out should make a ton of sense. And honestly, if figures wise, this horse kind of fits. We've kind of yet to see if she is really that talented. But at 10-1, I'm more interested. I'm much more interested in her than taking something like 3-5 on Julia Shining. I think, I don't think. I think Julia Shining is just going to be massively overbet. I think somebody like Affirmative Lady is actually a horse that's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, and Mike also pointed out the 2, showing how well bred this horse was. I think Andrew talked this horse up a little bit, mostly coming off those real slow fractions at Churchill. And that this horse was, 7th by 3 lengths and came and won, by a half length. So, he's kind of looking at the slope, close into a slow pace angle and in a sprint, thinking that there might be something here. I'm a little concerned about pedigree routing on this horse, but who knows at this point, right? In the Mischief is 1-2 derbies at this point, so right?
Who?
Yeah.
2?
2.
Yeah.
I mean, you get Violence on the top end. Violence. Well, I mean,
I'm just saying that in the Mischief's 1-2 derbies, so fucking pedigree doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like class.
I looked at that horse because of that, and I'm like, well, can this horse get the distance? The time form absolutely hated the figure. It came back incredibly slow. But, it's a race full of first-time starters. I don't put a ton of weight into that. Doesn't look like the pedigree wouldn't suggest, 9 furlongs is in the wheelhouse. Dam was a stakes-winning sprinter on dirt. Siblings are better sprinters. Violence is a better sprinter. But you never know. Rudy Brissett's like 30%, if I remember right, going sprinter route with some crazy ROI. He's also very good second off the layoff, which I kind of transition into second career start as well. So there's some bells and whistles there, and Rosario gets up. So I wouldn't talk anybody off that horse at all.
Yeah, this the Remsen was a little interesting to me, race 7, because you just didn't see the connections you normally see in this race. I didn't see any Pletchers, I didn't see any Browns, and I'm kind of like, they usually, at least one of them will have one in here, right? And it just, your favorite's a John Service horse here at 8-5, Tuskegee Airmen, who I really like in this spot, and for similar reasons, I kind of liked the 6th last race, in that I think that there's a good shot that the winner from this race is going to be coming from off the pace. The 2's got the best late pace the last race and just in general. and you got a lot of pace in front of it. So I was really interested in this too. Obviously, going to be the favorite, but I also took a pretty close look here at the 7 WNL. Kind of the same reason. Oh, Mark just hit something at Delta. It looks like because he fist pumped.
Yeah, my 7 got up.
All right.
That's awesome.
6-1.
WNL, I kind of like for the same reason as Tuskegee Airmen, and I'm going to get 5 times the price on this horse at 5-1, or yeah, I don't know, 3 times the price, whatever. I forgot what Tuskegee Airmen was. But I thought pace wise that it made the 7 made a bunch of sense here. Danny Gargan, 21% after winning last race with a maiden, gets Jose Ortiz aboard. So I don't know. I thought that the 7 fit in here pretty well, but I think the 2 is going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, I was actually very much against the 2, in this race. If you watch, I mean, I realize this horse is won by open lengths and is done all the things this one is supposed to do. But if you watch that last race, that horse was the definition of green down the backstretch. The horse bore out horribly. Just didn't looked completely lost on the track. Was all over the place coming on the backstretch. And then you see Paco around the far corner go to a drive super early, I think, just to try to get the horse to kind of refocus. And the horse, kind of overlaid that field and just kind of did what he, was kind of supposed to do. I don't know. I mean, if you watch the 2 races, very, very sort of different mentality. I don't know if this one is, needs to do a little developing, specifically mentally. Obviously, the talent is there, given the performance and the figures that came back. But, is this one really, really mentally ready at this point? So, I kind of was somewhat against the 2 Tuskegee Airmen. I thought the 4 Arctic Arrogance was really interesting in here. Horses probably can get the lead here if they really, if they want the lead, and I think they probably do. And I thought the horse was just crazy game in that Sleepy Hollow. This is a horse that got kind of nose top of the stretch and then re-rallied, came back. Again, these are 2-year-olds, and sometimes they're, the old adage of looking for someone to race, and I don't know if that was the situation there, but I thought that Sleepy Hollow was an actual better performance than it came off figures wise, and I think Arctic Arrogance is pretty interesting in there. And the other horse that I thought I think Josh had already mentioned was the 7. Who the Danny Gargan horse who's in here. I don't know if the figure on that last one was just because of the slop, but Gargan actually has fairly okay stats with last out maidens over dirt, coming back. So, or last out maiden breakers over dirt coming back, over the last 5 years. And I think this one probably can take another step forward. And so, being sort of against the favorite, I thought those were the 2 that were sort of the interesting outsiders that, or I don't know. I guess I don't know what a 2-1 horse is really isn't an outsider, but the two others that
For
I
you
wanted.
it is.
Yeah, for me, that's a big price. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time with this race, and I guess I partially agree and disagree with both of you guys in the sense that, like, with as far as Mark goes, I don't really love Tuskegee Airmen either, so I sort of want to play against that horse just based off of I haven't been that impressed with his races, and his races haven't come back that much faster than anybody else. So I wasn't really sure how much I wanted to bet him as a likely heavy favorite. The horse I want less to do with, though, was actually the 4. I guess in that sense, I would agree with Josh in that Arctic Arrogance, I don't see, has 2 wins out of 3 starts. Both wins came on a day when time form color coded the fractions blue, indicating that he set a pretty slow and comfortable pace. That sort of checks out visually, just looking at the raw times there. That middle start where he had to actually go quickly, he was beaten 2 lengths. So, I wasn't really sure. This doesn't feel like the race he's going to get a slow pace by himself on the lead as he steps up to 9 furlongs against open company. So I didn't really want to go to that horse either. So I kind of struggled looking for more off the pace horses. That's kind of where I wanted to go in this race. The 7 is the obvious other closer who both Josh and Mark liked. I'm not really against that horse at 5-1. The figures are fine and actually put him right in the mix here. So he could be on probably some of my tickets. my bigger question is really when a horse wins a race that's washed off the turf, I'm always a little bit skeptical of the quality of field that they beat. I mean, were they just beating a bunch of turf horses in a field that was really no good? So I'm a little skeptical of really what was behind him in that Aqueduct race in October, and as far as what the quality was there. But he does get the setup here, and it should be okay. Beyond that, I kind of struggled to find anyone else I liked, so I sort of begrudgingly went for, I guess, what you would consider a bit of an outsider, who is the number 3. Yeah, actually the longest price on the board according to the morning line. So if you look at, if you're a time form guy, and this may be one of those instances where it's just that unofficial like class adjustment coming out of a grade 3, but this horse is the fastest race last out of any horse in the field on time form with a 106, and quite frankly, it's not that close. He set very fast fractions in the Nashua before just tiring late. So I get it. A lot of people are going to say, well, what makes you think he can go another furlong here? And maybe he can't. I don't know. But at 15-1 for a horse that's not really a true need to lead type, as he did pass all but 2 back, I think he could be a little bit interesting. If he learns, as a young horse, he learns to kind of ration some of that speed a little bit better, kind of continues, developing. He is bred to probably go this far. He's one that I think, with Gomez not having the strongest meat, is going to get overlooked. But when none of the short prices do much for me, I'm willing to take a shot on an outsider like the 3.
All right. Well, they're at the turn here at Turfway.
And my price horse just apparently, I don't know, just stopped. Like I have nothing else than that. Then just was on the lead looking good and then decided to stop. So I need Gray's Creek here.
He's the gray, I would hope.
No, or is he the gray? Yeah, maybe
if the gray is not named Gray's Creek, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to get there, but I don't think my 6 has any hope for second.
Is he going to get there?
Credit looks pretty game there.
Come back. Get there. Get there.
Ooh.
Close. The angle at Turfway is really wonky, but
so outside's normally ahead, right?
That was a close one there. I talked about a credit. I didn't use a credit. I talked about him. I don't get partial credit for that. I do not get a credit for talking about the 7.
Get out.
Man, for a second, dude, I thought my 9 was winding up there at the top of the stretch, and then just completely stopped. 6-1, I thought was a fair price. Ooh.
Looks like the 1 to me a little bit, but it's close.
But the way the
camera angle, it always kind of makes it look like the outside horse, I think.
Yeah.
I thought the camera was after the line, which would make.
Oh, maybe I have it backwards.
I probably have it wrong.
Yeah, I looked at the credit. I didn't like 4-1, and then sometimes I'm just like, okay, like don't like this horse, and like I don't know. I would have probably used him at 6-1 before I would have used my 6 horse at 7-2. But
also, why the hell at Turfway can't they get the stupid freaking gate out of the way?
Wow, they got the 1.
7, 11, 6.
Unreal.
Boom.
And we got the perfect bob on the 1.
Yeah, because he has the best jock on the grounds. Of course, he got the bob.
So you had a double and you started a double, Mark? Is that right?
I hit a double, started a double. Yeah. Okay. So if I can get the ice cold Corrales double in the last 2.
I already hate this contest. This is like the just like worst possible scenario here, Caleb.
I mean, don't feel that bad. Mark spent $18 to make $27.
Oh, okay. Cheers.
No, it was only a.
It was $3. Okay, he made.
It was $3.
$36. I stand correct.
Oh man.
Now your next double could add up to something if you hit that.
Yeah, I went 3x2 to get second choice over the favorite. So I was real smart there. ITP is currently swearing. And
dude, ITP does not even want to like look at you. Well, I got $5 doubles to the 613 non-contest because I was an idiot and I was like, for the contest, let me use this 6 instead. Well, I didn't play doubles in the contest, but cash wise, I got the 6 and the 13 in the next race.
It should probably. It doesn't have to be now, but I think at some point it might be worth talking about just in general strategy for these kind of things. I don't want to put our viewers to sleep, so we don't got to do it now or go long about it. But in general, I mean, do you take one big stab? Do you take three equal stabs? Do you? Yeah, there's lots of different ways people approach these contests. I mean, just looking at the three ways we've played it tonight, maybe after we get a few weeks in or next week or something, we can take a look at some of that in more detail.
Yeah, what's interesting, and I'm telling you, Mark, Sheldon just kept on saying it every single time he could this weekend. He's like, I do not understand why Mark does not come out for this contest. He's like, I just do not understand why Mark doesn't come out for this contest because it is open track, it's open bet, and it's a $500. Well, $300 on Friday, but $500 on Saturday and Sunday bankroll. And he's like, the way Mark bets, he's like, this would be absolutely perfect for him.
He's right. No, he's right.
But
you can play pick fives in those contests, right?
You can play whatever, pick sixes, pick
Whatever.
fives.
That was the day I hit both pick fives at Aqueduct. I feel like I would have won. Granted, I would never play a pick five in a contest, but
I would put.
Yeah, I mean, I was attacking it single race. I was all exact to try the whole time, but.
So have we put on a plug for our good friend Mr. Brian Duransky, who got himself an NHC seat?
Yeah, congrats to Brian, who Brian got his NHC seat on Sunday with. So what's funny is before I left, he was doing okay, but he wasn't doing great. As soon as I left, all of a sudden he starts stringing stuff together. So I was probably the big mush after my just collapse on Friday. So
the ghost of Mr. Back Class.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, you had the worst nose beat I've ever seen. And I mean, I've literally been nosed out of like 5-figure scores, but the fact that you were nosed out of an NHC seat plus a pretty nice cash score on top was brutal.
That would have put me at like I think when I calculated it, it would have put me at about $4,100 in the lead, and then I just would have I probably would have stood pat, just because there wasn't really anything I liked in the other races. And yeah, it was tough, and it was funny because I kept on when I kept on telling the story, the horse's price kept coming down, and so at some point I thought it was only 5-2. Then I actually looked at the photo.
4-1. Yeah,
it was 4-1. Yeah,
Oof.
4-1. And I have 400 to win on it, so. That was $2,000.
It was one of those ones like it was odd too because you fired this big wager on a horse you liked and you had a spot play you obviously liked, and I remember looking at it and going, boy, that doesn't seem like a Josh horse because the horse was like dead last, and and then just made this outside big prolonged move and was cranking, and and it wasn't sort of the top 3 end like any of the pick simulators stuff. And I was just going, oh my god, this horse is going to get there and Josh is going to get an NHCC, and then. Man, you just it was brutal.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I also got a little unlucky that the top 2 guys were at the same table, so they knew the whole thing is anonymous. So like, I didn't know who the top 2 guys were, right? Like, and it was also multiple locations, right? So like, it could have been somebody in a different location. You wouldn't have known who it was. So it was kind of tough because had I known that it was people at the same table, maybe I couldn't have done anything. I probably wouldn't have done anything different, but at least that those people are probably standing pat. But it's tough. That was basically like they sent out a survey, and that was basically my only piece of like criticism for that contest was just that the leaderboard should probably be public. Like you should be able, like you can see it, but like you should be able to know the names of who's in it.
There's also a transparency thing about being able to see the leaderboard and being able to like, oh, those 3 guys that are first, second, and third are all sitting right next to each other, sharing each other's screens. Huh? I wonder. Like
I mean, like it is what it is. Like
we all talk about that, and
yeah, I mean the thing is like I don't use HTR right at all, but I sure enough I turned to Brian and I'm like, hey, like. Who's got OD in the spot, right? Which is some like tournament thing. So I mean, I'm obviously still going up. He's not telling me what to bet, and I'm obviously still going up and putting in a wager in. And I think, I'd like to think that that's how people at the same table in all contests play. And
Well,
yeah, it was just unlucky.
yeah.
I mean, the
You'd like to think that everyone is as honest as you are, and they're just not. And that's I mean, as much as there's an NHC Hall of Famer that we watched last year where she's sitting at a table with her, her mother and her grandmother and her, uncle and her second cousin that all have seats. And, and you're sitting there going, wait a second here. One person is clearly putting in all the wagers, and she's got like, eight NHC entries. And it's just, it leaves a bit of a foul taste in your mouth,
I don't know.
So
It's
I
just
think
it's weird. It's tough with any of those contests, right? Like you see the stuff that you saw in horse tourneys too, where
oh yeah, totally, yeah.
where like some guy, plays all these contests in the cash game, and his wife wins an NHC seat when he's already double qualified and has the same exact plays that he does in the cash game, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything about it. So like, if they're not going to do anything about it, I mean, it's fair game at that point,
Oh, Vicky's going off, but I do.
No, I think he's right.
Agree with him.
I think he's
He's
right.
right.
And
he's right.
They
He's totally
said
right.
the same thing actually about the Hawthorne contest when they were sent out they sent it out. They're like, if we made it unlimited, but you can only have 2 in play at any time, like would you play it? Right? So like if you bust out your two in the first like 3 races of the day, you can buy in another 2. Like, kind of like a rebuy tournament for
like a rebuy poker, yeah.
For poker, yeah. Like
or
like,
allow rebuys through a certain number of races like they do in poker. Hey, the first 5 levels you could rebuy. After that, you can't. Okay, the first however many races, or set a time on the clock or whatever. Make it you could rebuy. And yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, and I mean Caleb's already fallen asleep with us talking about tournaments like this, so we won't bore our viewers with it. Although Matthew does love tournaments, he brought up a really good point, and it's not something I really thought. Well, it is something I thought about, and probably the only reason why I would want to try and qualify for NHC is just that in-person contest thing. There's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. At NHC, you get the roar of everybody. Now, it's different at NHC, right? Because at NHC, people are rooting for the chalk, like because they don't want the bomb to win, right? They don't want the bomb to win.
That's the weirdest thing. The first time you're out there and it's chalk coming in, and people are screaming home the chalk, and you're like, what?
Yeah, because they don't want the 27-1 to win, right?
Exactly.
And then at this contest, right? People are slamming, 2-1 over 3-1 exacta. So they're rooting the chalk home because they have it. So it's just kind of funny. But I mean, having dinner with Matthew, having dinner with Shu was was just a real cool experience. We had this freaking awesome dinner. And we just talked about like everything. We made fun of Mark quite a bit actually. So I mean that also helped things. But no, it's just a great time. And they're with us putting COVID a little bit in the rearview mirror, like I feel like it's kind of got that objects seem closer than they actually are still, because of different outbreaks and stuff. But it was nice to get together and just hang out. So it was really good. Yeah, Steven saying he heard rooting on chalk, and he woke up.
4th and Remy, by the way.
You got anything here?
I got nothing here. I thought, I know Caleb had his price play. I just thought this race was really just too hard.
Would you like the 6 here?
This is a quirky race. I thought the 8 would get loose, or the 2 was only their speed horse I saw. The 8 is in 6th in the parking lot. So
the Secretariat ride.
So yeah, the 8 took like a negative money. He went off like 20-1. So my guess is that everybody knew this horse had 3 legs, but I have no contest bets anyway. I did play a personal exacta with the 2-8, and then I keyed the 8 and 3rd for a try because his price was huge.
Who the heck is the jock on this 8? He just looks weird on the horse, doesn't he? Like
he looks
like
bizarre.
He
looks like he's afraid of it. Like he's never ridden a horse before.
It's really weird.
He looked like he was standing up the entire time. Like
he did. He looked like he was, and now he's blocking the 6. So that's great.
Who is this jock? Wow.
Roman Cruz, I think. Yeah, I've never heard of him.
I mean, it's not on my note. No matter who you said, I wasn't going to know him. But
Lane Muzzy. Is Lane Luzzy?
Well, the 2's game as hell.
Wow, that 2. That re-rally.
7-5.
Re-rally that would have made Safi proud.
Well, I gotta figure out the contest player. Well, I got this. I got a double with the 6 and the 13 coming up from my cash plays, but I'm out. I got $16 here, so I'm gonna go all in with an $8 exacta box.
So wait,
My two
who here's
picks.
who's here's cash a ticket?
You?
Oh, ouch.
It's all
Yeah.
right. Hey, there's still one race. It only takes one, baby.
And if I could get this 4 at Delta, it would cap off a pretty damn solid night.
I was actually the funny story about the contest. I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I was actually down to $40, and I had to play. I played a $20 exacta box at at Churchill, and I hit, and that gave me a couple hundred, and that kind of catapulted me back in with when I was all in, and went on a nice little run there on Friday. I took 1,200 out of the pool with a $20 exacta, $5 try in another race. So, I made a couple nice plays that day, but
I always
no,
kind of
Delta-
wondered for you, Josh. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're definitely a little bit more of a. You don't play big wagers. You don't slam things. You're not a guy who really fires huge. How does it feel to fire like big wagers like that? Like
Not
how?
great.
What's the? No,
not great.
do you feel disgusting? Yeah.
When I put a bet in the 80 in the machine and it tells you can't bet that much, like it felt like a warning, like maybe I shouldn't do this, because the max you can put in you can bet is $200, and you have to
Wait,
hit the
really?
repeat button. You have to hit the repeat button, yeah.
Ah,
So I bet 400 to win. I tried to put 400 in, and it was like, no, sir. Like the machine's like, you cannot bet this much. And I was like, oh. So I bet 200, and then I had to hit the repeat button. And it was funny because Tommy, when I talk with Tommy, he would yell at me about not slamming stuff, and he's like, no, you put the voucher in, and you just keep hitting repeat until it zeroes out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just increase the number or something, right? But I'm like, oh, because he's probably, betting so
Yeah.
much that like he can't,
Yeah.
like the machine's telling you can't. But betting 400 to win, I think that's the biggest I've swung ever on a win bet. Yeah, I think it definitely is. And I'll be honest, I was talking to Emily about it because she had the stream going, and she was asking me, and I was like, the one thing I do like about this contest is that the money makes sense to me, right? $500 buy-in is probably more than I'm playing on a Saturday, but it's not like a heck of a lot more, right?
Right.
I don't feel like I'm like I said, I had to make a $400 win bet, to try and win the thing. That was within my comfort zone to do it. I mean, I was at the edge of it, but it was within my comfort zone to do it. $10,000, no. $1,500, I think is even too much. At least for me personally, right now, right? Who knows what happens in a couple of years or what? But I feel like the $300 Friday, the $500 Saturday and Sunday, like that's like the sweet spot for me. And I kind of wish there was more stuff at that price level. I feel like the contests really don't start till about between like 1,500 and 3,000, and that's just that's 2 months worth of wagering for me, probably, like if I were to lose it all in a day. So I don't know, that's just kind of that, at least that's the way I kind of looked at it. But I think it's a great contest. They're talking about maybe doing a last chance in January, so if that happens, I'll definitely play in that as well. I'm like 90% sure I'm going to play the last chance first chance at Bally's if they still do it. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what pricing looks like for flights and rooms and stuff like that. but I'll probably be out there for the weekend for sure. And maybe I'll convince Caleb to come out to Vegas and he can buy us all a bottle. I'll be feeling pretty good.
Depends when you ask me.
So I mean, Mark's probably going to come, but we'll see. He's also him and Gary are on the kind of in the wait and see camp, I think, still too. But I know Mark wants to get back out there
for NHC. No,
Yeah.
I'm 100% at NHC.
Okay.
Yeah,
PDT, PDP. Look, if PDT shows up. He's like, wait, you guys talking about Vegas?
Vegas? No. And Gary will 100% be there as well. I would be shocked if Gary is not at NHC. So, crew probably out there again. It's a super fun time. Like, you can go chill out and root on your friends, or you can go be a DJ. I mean, or do this both at the same time.
I will tell you, Mark, I got shoe liquored up, and he said, he's like, you know what really what really kind of upset me a little bit? He's like, when you and Mark didn't tell me to bet that Raylu horse.
I know.
I was like, oh, Mark and I cashed like $600 or $700 on that race, and
I
Mark
had 100 across the board on the horse.
What horse is this? Oh, NHC.
Yeah, what
That
was
was
the horse?
The horse that was half to Souther's Joy.
Yeah, with a weird name. Oh my god, I can't think of his name right now.
I know who you're talking about. It was oh my god, what's his name?
Yeah, it was like first time on synthetic.
Wolfie's Dynagos.
Wolfie's Dynagos.
Thank you,
There you go.
Steven's saving our butt once again.
Yes.
No, I had 100 across the board on him, and he went off at like 25 to 1. It was like a $4,000, whatever. But
How drunk were you to bet across the board?
At 25 to 1.
Oh, okay, 25 to 1, I guess.
No, I mean, the part that killed, and it pisses me off too, because I'm sitting right next to Shu. I like the horse. I'd like the horse for a long period of time, but I would have been waiting for them to get that horse in synthetic. And Josh and I are both sitting there because Josh is at the next table over, but we're kind of like shoulder width apart. And we're talking. We're both like, oh, you're finally getting him on synth. And we're both so excited to bet this horse. And it's so hard because you have a friend there that you're supporting, but you don't want to try to influence somebody's NHC play. You don't want to say, dude, I love this horse here at this spot. So you don't want to be like, shoo, you should really use one of your bullets up on this horse I love. It's a price. So I didn't want to push him. And then that freaking horse wins. And you're like, oh God.
I think both him and Bobby liked another horse, and the other horse was like 18 to 1 or something, right? So it's like,
okay.
Yeah, you don't want to talk them off of like a price, right? A 16 to 1 horse, an 18 to 1 horse.
I don't even think they played that race, did they?
I know Bobby did.
Oh, did he? Okay, because I remember watching the leaderboard, and I expected, that's a horse I thought a lot of people would be on, and it would move a lot, and I don't remember the leaderboard really shuffling. So,
but it was just like tough, right? Like you hear somebody likes a different horse, and it's a price. Even if it's a mountaineer shipper, like you try not to talk them out of it.
You try.
Yeah.
You try, and then you do, and what's a couple $100,000 between friends?
Not that much.
No, nothing. I will say though, this I need 3 or 4 at Delta for anybody watching for the pick 5.
3 or 4 at Delta. Be a shame if anything happened to those horses.
They're already off, Josh. I waited till the gate poppy to tell you. I mean, I wouldn't.
Oh, you got the 1 to 5 horse, of course.
Plus one.
Yeah,
more,
of course.
plus one.
Plus one more.
Plus
one more.
Right.
What's the pick 5 paying? $150.
241 to the 3, 1132 to the 4.
You got it multiple times, of course.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
As one does.
Oh, this 3's gonna win for fun.
Yeah, 3's gonna go out, and he should win for fun.
Yeah, no one else is running really, except for the 5 a little bit.
I mean, I'll take it. That's what, 20 to 1 on that play? Yeah, well, that works.
Yeah, I was just like winning by open links there. Yeah, Wolfie's down. He goes. Good old Steven.
Good old Wolfie.
Steven just knows all the stream heartbreaks. All the heartbreaks. That's all he remembers.
And the problem was I tried to bet the horse about his next 3 starts, and he proceeded to forget how to run again. So
yeah.
So what's everyone have going at Turfway? I know, Mark, you have a double going to the 4, I think.
The 4, yeah. I'm
Josh,
single to the 4 in that. Yep.
I got the 6. I got a double of the 6-13 non-contest, and then I got a 6-13 exacta box in the contest.
Okay.
Do you want to talk through the last two at Aqueduct, Josh?
Yeah, we got. I'm guessing this
got-
Turfway is going to come up soon.
It's going to be
but,
late as hell, I'm sure.
That's what I was thinking. And
We're in Caitlin.
Remy's 15 out, so I thought we had a minute here.
Yeah. So the Gopher Wand race 8. Let me double check to see who I liked in this race because I wrote these down in a different thing. I think I was on the chalk in this race, much to my chagrin.
Battlebrand 3.
Yeah, I like the 3 here a little bit. The 3 is at 3-1 Battle Bling, and then I also liked the Rosario horse, the 10 Bank Sting, who's 4-1. So yeah, so I think I was pretty chalky here. So Mark, I'll let you talk about it because I'm assuming that you have both those horses.
I do have both of those horses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see? There you go.
yeah. But plus a big price. But no, I ended up being 6 deep in here. I
Plus
thought
the
this
4.
race was
Don't
just-
even lie to me. It's the 4.
plus the 4. It's the 4. You knew it's the 4.
I called it, dude. I called it on the podcast last night. I was like, "Oh, look at this, Morley JJ. Mark's gonna have this one."
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I think this is just a really, really tough, really competitive race. I think the morning line WW Fitzy is kind of hilarious, but I think you'd be lucky to get half that. I would imagine this horse has, if some of those races from the Dio barn fit very, very well here on figures. There's some good horses in this race. I don't want to imply that there aren't, but there's no horse in here that's just a massive outlier that stands over this field. And if WW Fitzy fires at a pretty big price back to some of those races, from I don't know, all of this past summer, the horse is a major player, and I'll kind of excuse the one, the one last out race where the horse just didn't fire. And give the 6-year-old mare one more shot. But I do agree with Josh. I think Battle Bling is a massive player in here who's won 3 in a row, looked really well, and does get across the surface quite well. My only concern is this a little bit sharp for Battle Bling? Cutting back to a mile here. Horse is only 1 for 5 going a mile, so I do expect and the other sort of quirk with Battle Bling is all those. You're seeing those 3 in a row. The horse has kind of been on the lead, and I just think there's a lot more pace in here than there has been in those last couple of races. So I didn't feel like I could really lean on Battle Bling. And then Bank Sting, the 10, also seems to be a major player in here. This is a horse that absolutely loves the duct. And I like to see Rosario kind of sticking here with this mount. I think I like Bank Sting over Battle Bling. But I think there's a lot of other ways you could go here, and I'm sure Caleb has some cute price plays in here.
I do. I hate Banksting in here. This is the Philly version or mare version of Mr. Buff. 8 wins and 13 starts, has no chance against open companies. Stay in your lane. Sorry about your luck. Battle Bling, I respect. I'm not really against that horse. I think she fits in here for sure. WW Fitzy, I don't know what to do with. She ran terrible last time. Was it no Lasix? Was it a new barn? I mean, I don't know. Was it just a freak thing you can forgive? At 15-1, maybe I could. At 6-1, I certainly couldn't. Morley's barn has been terrible lately, so I'm not
they've
sure
been
what to
horrible.
make out of that.
Yeah.
But I actually landed on a bomb here that I really like, which is the 2 Exotic West. This horse is actually undefeated against Battle Bling in races that she didn't toss the jockey. So that being said,
that is an oddly specific thing.
It is, but last time dumped the jockey 2 back. Okay, just strung out too wide, didn't handle it. Was kind of tailing off form, and maybe she is out of form. I wouldn't really argue that she's not. You can make that argument. But you look back at the Shuvi, I mean, she went up against 2 of the best filly and mares in the division with Claire Hare and Malafat, who just ran, essentially 1-2 in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Then you look at the other race at Pimlico, which I can't remember what the stakes is called right now, but ran pretty good despite being against a pretty significant speed and rail bias that day. And she loves Aqueduct and she loves a mile. She's only a 4-year-old filly. She has some upside left. And, she has some races at this track that sort of put her in the conversation. So I think there's a ton of speed in here. I don't think there's a lot of horses that are going to come from off the pace. I think she's one of the few that can do that and is actually most effective doing that. So yeah, I think the 2 Exotic West is a huge player at a monster price.
All right, looks like they're loading into the gate here, and then we can talk about the big race, Cigar Mile here after this. Well, Mark's got like 7 other horses he wants to talk about in this spot.
The only other one I want to talk about is Self Isolation. This is a horse that is another one that's won 3 in a row, but of the 3 in a row winners, this is a horse that's a bit more of a price. 3 for 3 at the distance, 2 for 2 at the Duct, won the last 2. Jacobson Barn arguably hasn't been the hottest to start off the Duct meet, but I thought this was a horse that was, quite interesting, quite honestly. And thought could be a player here. It might get a little bit lost on the board. I honestly, I agree with Caleb on Exotic West, but I expected the odds to be flipped. I think Exotic West ends up being more 8-1, 10-1 range, and I think you probably get 20-1 in Self Isolation. So
David can do no wrong.
I honestly, these races were not his best work.
Wow. I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Tell him. I'm cool with that.
Caleb, have you had 1792 Foolproof?
I have. Yeah, I think it's good.
It's really nice.
I don't care for their normal stuff, but the Foolproof's very good.
1792 small batch. I cannot. I bought it a couple times, and I thought it was good. And I don't know if it was just the bottle I got the last time or what, but it was literally one of just like the worst bourbons I've ever had.
Yeah, their Foolproof just is completely different. It's a good pour, but the small batch, I don't care for it either. I'm with you. At Turfway, I know you guys got some bets going. I feel like I have no action here, but if I had, I would say the 3 at 10-1 is probably too tall. I mean, I don't know the connections. That's probably why the horse has taken no money. But yeah, 10-1 feels like a bit of an overlay on this 3 horse here, Lucky Cat too. So that's where I'd be looking if I was going to make a play.
Mark, what do you got here? The 4?
4.
And I got 613. And but tournament wise, if I can get the 6 and the 13 in first and second, it's gonna be nice. And then I can just maybe try and find the 4-1 and end this contest early next week. And nothing would make Mark happier
Then
ending this contest and not having to look at Turfway Park anymore.
that's true.
Yeah, but how much bourbon can you get for $50?
I mean, the stuff I've been buying, like half a bottle.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we got them bougie taste buds now.
Yeah, my 4 ain't happening. So
You sure?
We're not, he's last. It's okay.
absolutely,
He's got him right where he wants him.
Gerardo knows better than you do, Mark.
Whereas Jessica Paquette could say, the 4 can see them all. Because that's literally like the only line she knows at parks. God, she's so bad.
Ding dong battle on the front end. Remember that guy? The
Who is that? Was that the...
That was a Fauner Park guy.
Fauner guy.
Did he pass away? I know he retired.
Oh, so I doubted Corrales. And
Oh man, Corrales is just like
And if that horse wins
he's
from
picking
here,
him
he's
up and
gotta be
putting him
also-
down.
If what now, Caleb? He's not going to get there.
Nah, he's not quite going to get there.
Oh man,
Does anyone have the 7?
nope. I got
Nope.
the 6.
And we're all buying back in there. Oh, no, Mark has a few dollars left, I think.
Nah, I got $40.50.
Oh, that's perfect, dude. We're gonna have more money than Mark next
That's
week.
right. More money than Mark.
There we go, baby. There we go. It's all part of the plan.
Wait, I can't play race 5 and 6 at Remy?
Oh yeah, you got
Actually,
one more
you can
race.
play race 5. Race 6 is
Yeah,
off
you got
stream,
one
so-
more race.
Oh, it's off stream? Damn it.
I mean, there's no double anyway.
This is true.
Mark's gonna go all in just so he can have $50. $50
$40 show in the
next
favorite.
week.
I am.
Yeah.
I am debating it.
Man,
Did I like that 7 at Turfway at all?
I don't know. I'm about to go back and look. Let me pull up the
I had the horse marked as on my form as a question mark, and then I saw a 2% trainer with 90 starts, and I'm like, yeah, at 7-2 or 9-2, the horse can beat me. And Sure as shit.
But that was the entire field. There was one trainer who actually wins races, and the rest of them were like 2 or 3%. It was abysmal.
So I just want to show you guys this real quick. Look at this fucking plot.
That is a plot.
Look at this fucking plot, dude. Like, yeah, I thought the 6 and the 13 sitting here, and also sitting here in surface distance plot coming from off the pace. I thought they made the most sense, but yeah, it was kind of a shit show of
Right off the plot, you want the 10, but he's also 0 for 23. So
yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna try on Sunday. So Emily's actually doing a seminar, a free seminar at the OTB that we were at. So I might try and go up there. It's also being done virtually. I really like optics. I think it's a great product. I sometimes run into trouble using it because I rely on it and almost treat it as gospel. And like sometimes it works out, which is like well and good, but I get a little lazy with it, and I think Caleb, I think you kind of said the same thing. Like it makes sense, it's a good product, but sometimes like you look at it and then like you just like don't look at anything else. Or
yeah, I mean, if I see like a Q1 square, I mean, I'm already thinking in my head like probably a single, and that horse might be an 0 for 20 maiden, like but it makes you lazy. Yeah. Not that it's a bad product, because I think it's a great product, but you have to use it how it works.
I've had the same exact problem with it, where what I have to do with optics is I have to cap the race my normal process, and then I use optics as an overlay after the fact.
I
so,
agree.
that 0 for 28 maiden, I toss that horse out because that's just not something I'm ever betting. And then I go, it forces me to, I have to just approach it differently. Honestly, to me, it's a little like Clocker reports in that regard, where I cap the race how I normally would, then I add a bit of a layer that is Clocker reports, and that's how I have to be with optics, because if I rely on it too much, it becomes a crux, and then I just act like an idiot.
All right, you're gonna play something here at Remy, Mark, or should we go look at?
I already posted it. I played
a
$40 win bet on this 4.
All right, he's going $40 win bet.
I mean, either I have I end up with 0, or I have more than you guys going into the next week.
On the 4?
Yeah. Banjo Bear.
It's not the favorite, though.
He is not the favorite. That is correct.
I don't know. We got 2 minutes. You want to talk Cigar Mile, or you want to watch this race then go?
Yeah, let's talk about Cigar Mile. We'll talk about the race when it comes up. Caleb, who did I pick in the Cigar Mile?
You?
Yeah.
White Barrio.
I am all about White Barrio in this spot here. I'm going to have all my money going through White Barrio, the 3 horse here. Irad Ortiz Jr. and Safi Joseph. Honestly, I looked at this from a pace perspective, and I was unsure who's going to go. Who's going to get sent to the front end? And I know probably against my better judgment, I'm going to guess Irad with White Barrio goes and grabs the front end here. There's just not a lot of like really dead set speed, I think, in this race. And I think maybe Safi's trying something different with the tactics he used last time. Andrew actually says he wants to bet White Barrio in the Pegasus because the horse is 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 at Gulfstream. But yeah, I don't know. I thought White Barrio here made a lot of sense from a pace perspective. You got to respect Zandon in the spot. I feel like Mark. I'll actually I'll put the defensive B alert on myself here. Because I probably will use Zandon in some way, shape, or form here. I replayed it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have something definitely going through White Barrio in this spot. Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I hate this race. I had a really hard time with this race. I can make a case for most of the field. But Zandon's probably your most likely winner. But man, he doesn't win very often, and he's gotten to the point in his career where I don't know. Some of these horses, you're just like, oh, maybe they just don't really like winning. That he just kind of invents new ways of not quite being good enough. And I realize Epicenter's not here, and Cyberknife's not here, Taiba's not here. So does he just turn out to be the you get rid of better horses and he is good enough to win this? Or does some other horse step up and invent some new way of beating Zandon? I mean, he needs a little bit of a setup in front of him. I don't necessarily know. Todd has been very public about saying that this wasn't really the plan, but he'd been just training so well, they figured they would jump in here and give it a shot. And I don't love that mentality. I don't love, if the horse is in good form, sure, but I don't really know if he's a miler. Maybe he is, but it seems like he's never been campaigned in that way. They've always thought he was a classic distance horse, and now they're, cutting him back to a mile. I agree with Josh. I think White Barrio makes a ton of sense. I've always kind of thought maybe White Barrio of the horses, that we're talking about here is the one that wants a little bit of a cutback, and they're finally giving it to him. So I think White Barrio makes a ton of sense in here as well. And honestly, Josh, I was a little disappointed you didn't go back to your boy Mind Control. He's back. This is kind of his trip, and he does like the duct. And
I believe you're confusing me with Caleb, because I believe Mind Control is a
I
Caleb
do
horse.
love some Mind Control. That's my horse.
You're the Mind Control. I'm sorry. I thought Josh loved him some Mind Control. I will let you wax poetically about Mind Control, Caleb.
Let me tell you why Mind Control wins this race. Zandon is going to find a way to run second. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
He'd do it. Yeah.
It's what he does at this point. I mean, okay, there's no epicenter, but there's also no Rich Strike in this race, and I feel like Zandon had every right to run down a couple of the horses that finished ahead of him in a few of his starts, including Taiba in the Pennsylvania Derby. Speaking of which, I think that figure, as most figures at Parks, came back way too fast. I mean, just look at White Barrio and tell me that you think that 104 on Briz is a legit fig on the rest of his past performances when he ran fifth by 8 lengths. I don't buy it. Taiba didn't really threaten in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Neither did Cyberknife in the mile. I mean, he threatened, but he lost. I mean, I don't believe it. I think that horse does have a pace advantage. I'll definitely concede that, but not for me. Mind Control, though. This is an older horse that is proven at this level, proven at this track, and proven at this distance. This is what he wants to do. 1 mile at the duct is his bread and butter. You're getting Johnny V up for Pletcher, who used to be like the bread and butter, and then sort of, they broke up a little bit, but now they're back together. So they've been riding pretty good. 38% out of 8 starts in the last 2 months. So Mind Control is very tractable run style, can beat right up on the pace. I expect him to sit just off of White Barrio on the lead, and then probably collar him, turn him for home, and be able to hold off Zandon late in the stretch. So I think the 7 Mind Control is the horse to beat there.
Mark's 4 did not win.
Mark's 4, I don't see him on. He's second.
Yeah, third.
No, I think he got third. He third by about 300 lengths.
Setton came in with the 8 pick, and the 8 ended up running. 8 ended up running second, I think. There
he tried to pull a 6er and just speak it into the universe and have it happen with the T-shirt. Which we still have giveaways to do, don't we?
Oh, we do have to give a T-shirt away, don't we?
We gave away the two hoodies.
I thought we were gonna do 3.
You're gonna do another one?
Sure.
All right, we'll
sit
do
around
it.
and listen to this drivel for
we'll do it. We'll do it next week.
An hour and a
half.
half.
We'll do it next week.
Next week? Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it next week. Mark still needs to Venmo me for the.
PDT needs a new hoodie, so we'll hook him up.
Yeah, we'll do something next week. We like I said, we'll probably try and start a couple minutes early just so we get that Turfway race in. We will discuss the track selection because it seems like Remy was not it tonight. I thought they were still going to be running on the turf, but it looks like Steven saying we'll be talking GP next week. No, although I did play more GP than I would like to say this last weekend. So, but yeah, no. Thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you. We hit 1,000 subscribers finally. So I put in the I put in all the applications and stuff we needed with YouTube to hopefully get a couple more features here. And yeah, we'll be coming back every week for the foreseeable future here. Obviously with the holidays and stuff, maybe we'll miss a week or two, but Bankroll Building and Bourbon is back. Daniel Young saying the GP pick 5 carried, so that might be worth a shot. But anytime, yeah, Caleb's shaking his head no, and we all know why. Have a good day. What if I told you that the perfect man did exist, but he was cursed? I mean, he's just a complete handicapper. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Might be the best I've ever seen. He could be the best looking guy in all of horse racing. I mean, he gives Matt Bernier a run for his money. I mean, we all saw it. He was minding his own business, walking back from the bathroom. Hottest girl in the bar just grabs him and says, reel me in. Turns out you can't always be that lucky, though.
Zulu Alpha charges up the rail under Tyler Gaffleon and takes the lead late. Zulu Alpha wins the Pegasus World Cup Turf.